Hey everyone, Condor K again. This time with a Zen blog focusing on my characters, sort of. Mainly how I created them, to be more specific. And they don't look extremely complicated at first glance. They see, mainly because I draw and color everything that I do in Microsoft Paint. That's what I mainly use. I've become really comfortable with it. It's free, it's with the computer all the time, it's simple. Not a lot of people, at least I don't think a lot of people use it to do really complex stuff. I could be wrong, I don't know. But they don't look that complicated because I use Microsoft Paint. But at the same time, from my own specific art style, the characters that make up Zen, the 26 of them, are very detailed compared to things that I used to draw a long time ago. Anyway, before I used to draw my characters for the first time on paper, and there was really no kind of strategy that went into creating the character for anything. I just drew a person, made them stylistic to a certain way, like if they're good, I made them kind of seem, happy. If they were bad, so on and so forth. And then I gave them a name. Or I had a name already. It really one way or the other. But using the computer and using Microsoft Paint takes a few more steps. The Zen characters all follow the exact same process that I guess developed a while ago. I don't remember exactly when I started using it, but I'll illustrate it for you in drawing a really simple character. I start with using the black paintbrush and paint to draw a person, like the shape of a person, sort of a silhouette except blank, in a pose, if I'm going to do like a posed picture. If they cross their arms, so on and so forth, whatever I shape the doll, I guess, to look that way. Usually I try to avoid having their arms and legs kind of cross over any other part of their body because I want to draw in detail all their clothes so that people can see. Although sometimes some poses do involve hands in front of the chest, or both hands doing something or other. I try not to do crossed arms simply because I can't. I'm really not good at that. But once the shape is down and I've settled on that pose, I use another color, it's almost always red, to draw over that image and add the first layer of clothes. Be it a short sleeve shirt, long sleeve shirt, any kind of shirt that goes on top, and then whatever style of pants I want to do, or if it's armor plated, leg armor, whatever. But I always do long pants. Hardly any characters I draw ever wear short pants. A few do, but not that much, simply because I don't know, I like long pants better, and something I specifically try to avoid is drawing bare feet, because I can't. So once again, I have this huge arsenal of shoes, I guess, in mind that I use all the time. I always go with this, trying to make the shoes interesting because I can't show feet, so I want to have something on everyone's feet that look good. And of course I have to decide if they're wearing gloves or not, and if the gloves that they are wearing are fingerless, or if they have a hole in the back of the palm, or both. It really depends on what kind of character I think they are, what weapon they might be wielding, maybe. And realistically I would think you'd want to wear gloves if you're wielding a sword, but I honestly don't know. So I just give them gloves if I think that they need them, or if I want to add more to them. And anyway, once all this is drawn on the black as red, I use another color to draw another layer, which is usually blue, and that's what I use to add anything that goes over, like jackets, or let's say it's an archer, I use the blue to draw over the band that goes in front of their chest that holds the quiver on their back. Usually those go over there, and that can also introduce a third layer if the person wears a jacket as well as they have a band across their chest for one reason or another. Or if they wear armor, that's how I do. I stack it on top of each other and I change colors. It's usually the black for the doll, red for the first layer, blue for the second, green for the third. I usually don't do more than that, unless it's just additional details on top of that. And lastly, I do the head, which is always the hardest part, to give them a good looking face and an expression that I think defines that character. Creating characters is just, it's not as easy as I would like it to be, but at the same time it is fun, and I did it 26 times for Zen. Twice, finishing recently in December with the new versions of all the characters, the final versions. But the one difference between drawing just a pose and then drawing what I finished in December was that I realized I'm going to be doing this whole thing in paint, and I'm going to be fully drawing all the characters. I didn't want them to be too complex so that it wouldn't be a pain to draw them over and over and over again. But at the same time, I knew that if I did draw them over and over and over again, I would get better at it. So with the December versions of my Zen characters, I drew them all in a generic stance, standing completely upright with their arms stretched out, looking forward, and then I turned them around and drew their backside. I didn't do a side profile because I'm really bad at that. But that's how they all look, and it's what I'm going to use as reference for everything. I'm going to keep it that way. I also drew their weapons separately off to the side since I'm going to need those as well. But it's not exactly a super long or super hard thing depending on what I'm doing. But sometimes I just don't have the feeling or the grip on the mouse, and my lines come out really bad sometimes. They just don't look too good for whatever reason or the other. And the head is always so hard to do, mainly because when I start drawing it, like the circle that I'm going to fill in with all the details, the nose, the mouth, the eyes, and then the hair, sometimes the circle comes out too big. Sometimes I don't notice, and then when I finish the head, I zoom out and they have this large head in comparison to their body, and it looks bad, but the head, all its details they look good, it's just the size doesn't make any sense, and I have to get rid of that head and start over. Usually by using the select tool to move the head over to the side and trying to duplicate it on a smaller scale. But that's how I draw the characters, that's how I do it step by step. And I came up with them all kind of haphazardly. I didn't really, because I always had A through F, but I didn't really consider what the next ones would be. I knew who K would be because I kind of based him slightly off myself, but at least in the beginning when his name was Kevin. But after a while I just decided to change him radically and change his name to Cruz. So the only thing he retains is all the blue that I gave Kevin. I just left that the same. But with all the characters, I usually started by drawing a character, making them look really good in some way, making their clothes look interesting or have nice designs on them. And after I finished the character, I would come up with a name. The only thing that I decided beforehand when drawing the character was maybe a weapon, if I knew a weapon for sure I wanted this character specifically to have, and the name. Sometimes the name came first, sometimes it came last. Yes, and the gender. That's something that I decide as I go into it. And the main reason that I was so pushy with that when I was designing the Alpha Knights was I've never had a good amount of female characters in my casts in previous comics that I did before. Some comics didn't have any female characters at all. It's not because I didn't like or didn't want to draw them. Although I will admit back in the day I was probably really bad at it, but I just didn't do it. So when I did Zen, I knew that I wanted to reverse that, and so I tried to create as many female characters as I could when I was doing the other 20 Knights. And I think out of the 20 that I designed after the first 6, about 5 of them are female. I don't really have a file open in front of me, but I'm pretty sure that they are. I knew for certain going into it Z would be female simply because A is male, A and Z. And after that, I just decided randomly which ones. J, H, G, P, V, S. I'm pretty sure those are all the female characters. And so that's how I do it, that's how I draw the characters. And my next vlog will be talking more specifically about the main 5 and their personalities and the roles that I hope for them to play, I guess in a way. But I'll be talking about the main 5 next time. I already have their August 2013 photo pictures and their December 2013 pictures up on my Facebook page for you to look at, compare, and prepare for my next Zen vlog. So I'll see you next time.